G'day everyone, welcome back. I just wanted to put a quick video out because I've been reading a few articles in the news, and I think that there's a massive depreciation crash coming in a particular sector of the car market, and I think it's going to be huge in the next 2 to 5 years, and you don't want to be part of it, so stay tuned. So it's not unusual to see cars from like the 1920s, 30s still around on the road today, still working perfectly fine. And that is because the cars are essentially fairly basic. You know, it's mechanical components, it's electrical components. All of these things can be either repaired or refurbished or replaced. If it's a mechanical component, it can be remachined. If it's an electrical component, it can be, replaced with something different. And because of this, they have a certain intrinsic value because they're going to keep going. So you know that if you buy a car from the 1960s, you keep it maintained, it's still going to be worth something in 10 years' time, as long as you keep maintaining it, reasonably. Now, there's a huge push at the moment for EVs and hybrids and all that kind of stuff, all that kind of new technology. It's all on the back of, concerns about climate change and getting rid of fossil fuels and all that kind of stuff. Whole other argument about that, which I won't get into now. But the fact is that unlike, the cars that we've been used to growing up with for the last century or so, these EVs have got a component which is just not replaceable, it's not serviceable, and that is the battery. Now, there's nothing you can do with an EV battery essentially except get rid of it and get a new one. You recycle the components as much as you can into raw materials or whatever, but essentially once that battery is dead, you have to replace it. And that really cuts into the value of an EV or any car which has got a battery in it. And some of these batteries are horrendously expensive. I saw a Mercedes hybrid recently where the cost of the battery to replace it wasn't that old, it was about 9 years old, I think, and the cost to replace that battery was over 30,000 Australian dollars. The car itself was not worth much more than that. And I think this is going to prove to be a massive depreciation problem for EVs in the next 2 to 5 years. Already you're seeing articles in the motoring press that's talking about how EVs have got a higher rate of depreciation than any other kind of car. And I think it's going to be really tough to justify the investment that you're going to put into an EV if in 5, 10, whatever years' time, you're going to have to put back into it a massive new battery, which is going to cost an absolute fortune. I think there's very limited cases for an EV. I think urban transport, short distances within an urban environment is one of the cases that you can make for EVs and hybrids. But apart from that, it's really going to be tough to justify spending a fairly sizable chunk of cash on an EV which is going to depreciate so badly in a very short period of time. So there's no way personally that I'm going to get into an EV in the near future. The fact that a battery is essentially a consumable item in those cars, you're going to have to replace it. There's no way that you can repair it. It's massively expensive to do that. And it makes justifying an EV for me very, very difficult indeed. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say. I think EVs are a real, they're in fashion. They're a bit of a fad at the moment. Everyone's pushing them. But I think there's massive drawbacks and potential for people to lose shed loads of money. And I want to warn people against that at this stage anyway, until things change. Anyway, drop your comments down below. I'd be interested to hear what you think. And that's just about it for this video. See you in the next one. Bye for now.